First question, what is the Cleric Beast? We covered that. Second question, what is he wearing? Nothing. He has nails hammered into one of his legs, though. Have you ever noticed that?
Like Lawrence?
Well, it's the same model.
Oh, then yes, I noticed.
Yeah. The Cleric Beast has nails hammered into his right thigh. We don't exactly know what the story with that is.
I know what it is.
What is it?
You know, there's a surgery that can lengthen your, legs?
Oh, okay.
So I think that's what he was trying to do.
So this is the real healing church. They were trying to cure baldness and make men taller.
Yes.
It was a refuge for men who felt short and bald. That's why Father Norbert is so short and wears that skull cap, because he was a short, bald guy. It was like everyone in the church looked like Danny DeVito. And then...
Oh my god. Okay.
Okay. He drops the Sword Hunter badge.
Could you elaborate on that?
Well, this is presumably the reason he drops that and also unlocks the Hunter Chief emblem is that he is supposed to be the captain of the Church Hunters. And he transformed on that night of the hunt.
Sorry, could you read the description of the Sword Hunter badge?
One of the badges crafted by the Healing Church. The silver sword is the symbol of a church hunter. Ludwig was the first of many church hunters to come, many of whom were clerics. As it was, clerics turned into the most hideous beasts. So, that the Cleric Beast drops that. I remember when the game first came out, people were saying that means it's Ludwig.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. And... Because it's just the regular... Sword Hunter badge. Ludwig's badge would be the Radiant Sword badge, which is found in the workshop. So, it wouldn't have been Ludwig. It would just have been a church hunter who transformed into a Cleric Beast. Presumably he was the captain because he drops the Hunter Chief emblem.
Do you think he could have been Ludwig at any point?
I don't know at what point they invented Ludwig. I can explain how the whole Church Hunter Chief thing works, because
go ahead.
The original idea was that the drops of the Cleric Beast and Gascoigne would have been reversed. So Gascoigne would have dropped the Hunter Chief emblem. Because Gascoigne was the captain of the Church Hunters at that point. So you'd fight Gascoigne, he would drop the Hunter Chief emblem that would let you through the church doors. The Cleric Beast would have opened a different pathway that I think would have... No, hang on. Gascoigne would have dropped the Hunter Chief emblem. The Cleric Beast, we think, was probably still Father Norbert at that point. So yeah, that's why, basically, after they moved the Cleric Beast to the bridge, and the door behind the Cleric Beast worked, it would have been swapped, so the Cleric Beast was the mandatory boss and Gascoigne was the optional one, basically. So you would have been able to go directly from the Cleric Beast through to Erden Chapel. Then when they swapped it around and removed that shortcut, killing Gascoigne would have given you the Hunter Chief emblem. No, yeah. Oh god, sorry. Stupid musical bosses. The original idea was, Gascoigne was the captain of the Church Hunters. When you beat him, he would have dropped the Hunter Chief emblem because he was chief, he was the Hunter Chief. That would have let you into the Grand Cathedral Plaza. The Cleric Beast, we don't know because they were still messing around with him, but he would have just been guarding that shortcut. And once you beat the Cleric Beast, you could go through the door behind him and get into Cathedral Ward that way. Basically.
Now, can you say all that again, but backwards?
The problem is none of this is dated, so we don't know at what point things were changed around. So when we see a reference to, like, the Cleric Beast in the Grand Cathedral or the Cleric Beast on the bridge, we don't know when. And we don't, like, for all we know, there were two Cleric Beasts at one point, because it's just called Cleric Beast.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, we have no idea.
And to fight the Cleric Beast, you can summon Father Gascoigne or Alfred?
Yeah.
Why?
Because Gascoigne is the captain of the church. No, he's not, is he? Because Gascoigne is just one... This is the confusing part, right? You kind of hinted at this in your Viola video, showing that you have an instinctive understanding of Bloodborne lore. Right.
Oh, by the way, yeah, the Viola video you're referring to is the one on Patreon.
Right. Okay. But this is a Patreon podcast.
Well, you know what, to be honest, as I heard you explain the Cleric Beast like 4 times in a row, I think I changed my mind. This has to go public.
Alright, fine. So, what happens is, Gascoigne, originally, when Gascoigne was captain of the Church Hunters, he would have just been, like, there wouldn't have been the beckoning bell. He would have just been an NPC who ran around on the bridge killing werewolves. Similar to when Eileen and Henrik fight, and you wander in and they're just there. You don't summon Eileen to fight Henrik. Gascoigne worked like that, and he would have run along the bridge, and I guess he would have been able to fight the Cleric Beast if he got into the arena. The reason Gascoigne is just wandering around fighting beasts, it made a lot more sense when he was captain of the Church Hunters, because it's like, okay, that's why he's out there. He's doing what the church is telling him to do, he's purging Yharnam of beasts. Now he is described as having left the church. It's very confusing. I don't know why he's out there. I guess he just likes killing things because he's becoming blood drunk.
Yeah, well, his wife and kids are home alone during, like, the most dangerous night of the year. He's just out killing things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and to make it better, Viola leaves all of their children behind and goes off to try and fight him for some reason.
Yep.
Like, Viola, who doesn't even take, like, a pocket knife with her, is gonna go out on the night of the hunt, look for her husband in the midst of all the beasts, because...
Sad.
This is why my Viola video is the only video on the internet about Viola that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, go on.
What was the question? Oh yeah, well he's summonable because he's running around Yharnam killing beasts. So it makes sense that you can summon him to fight the Cleric Beast. Back when he was captain of the Church Hunters, it made a lot more sense, because it's his job to run around Yharnam killing beasts. Now that he is described as having left the church, it's a bit less clear why he is out there. But I think the idea is that he's just so blood drunk, he just relishes killing shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why he's still out there, I guess. Or he just sees it's his duty to keep the beasts under control, even though he's not part of the church anymore.
His intuitive duty in Yharnam?
Yes.
Okay. And what's Alfred's beef with the Cleric Beast?
Alfred is just a beast hunter. So, like, it's the same with the blood-starved beast. Like, he hunts beasts, so you can ask him to help you hunt beasts together. Like, that's really the extent of it.
Okay, I thought he was only good at murdering defenseless women.
He's very good at that. Although he's not, because she comes back to life again.
True.
This is the whole thing that, like, I've talked about before with the whole I don't really like how they did the executioner thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think it's pretty clear from having looked through everything that what Alfred is wearing is just what the church hunters wore, like Ludwig's church hunters. Alfred is just a church hunter. And Logarius is just the king of Canehurst. And Canehurst was attacked by the church hunters, and there's no need to bring the executioners, who have a faraway workshop and are led by a giant man for some reason. There's, like, no need for that to exist, and I'm not sure what the idea was, but just saying, like, the church attacked Canehurst, Logarius is the king of Canehurst, Alfred is wearing what the church hunters wore, is so much easier. It's so much neater without having to come up with, like, well, Logarius is sitting in the throne and wearing a crown because he's sealing away AstralLace, and the reason that the church dress like they're executioners is because they got the idea from the executioners and they copied their uniform. And it's just...
Yeah.
That's also the story... Like, the church copied the executioner's uniform and the Bergenworth uniform.
They're very unoriginal.
But it's clearly just because, like, they kept shifting around designs. Oh, this doesn't make sense anymore. Oh, it's a tribute. So yeah, Alfred is, like, just a beast hunter.
Okay.
And he's running around purging shit in Yharnam.
Okay.
So you can summon him for mystifyingly only 2 bosses.
Mm-hmm.
The really mystifying part is you can't summon him for Ligarius.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Of all the bosses that I think need a summon, Ligarius is one of them. Because he is pretty tough.
No, Richard, that's because Alfred loves Ligarius. He can't fight him.
But when Ligarius dies, he's like, brilliant, Ligarius can now be canonized as a martyr. This is why, see how little sense it makes?
No, it makes perfect sense. He just didn't want to be the one to do it.
Alright, Eileen then.
She doesn't have a Kinehurst invitation.
How about, like, one of the many bazillion stupid, random, like, old hunter Vitus or something?
Okay, well, you gave the invitation. You chose to give it to Alfred instead of the other bazillion NPCs, so that's what happens.
Okay, there's just a random new executioner character.
But how did he get the invitation?
I don't know. How did the church get there in the first place?
Well, because the bridge was still there back in the day when the church got there.
We'll call him Drifting Executioner Raymond. You can just summon him, he's just standing there.
No, you should be able to summon someone you meet in Kinehurst, like a Bloodlicker or whatever.
There is an unused Canehurst NPC.
Oh yeah? Who?
Called Vile Blood Drifter Leo, but we don't know very much about him.
Oh yeah, we talked about him.
There's a reference to him, and then there's unused face data for a guy who looks like a Vile Blood, who's got like the really pale skin and white hair and red eyes.
Yeah.
And we think that might have been Leo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what else is disappointing?
What?
There wasn't a Nightmare of Canehurst DLC where you got to summon Ligarius to fight AstralLace when she's at full power.
Is that something that was gonna happen?
No, I just think it would have been cool to go back to the... You know when in Dark Souls 2 there's the giant memories? Where you... did you get that far? No. Okay, in Dark Souls 2, there are bits where you it's kind of like the Hunter's Nightmare, and you go back in time, and you see the Dranglake Castle under siege. Mm-hmm. Not Dranglake Castle, you see like the fort before Dranglake Castle under siege. And it's like a full-on war, and there's like knights and giants fighting each other on both sides, and you're like running around in the middle of it.
Cool.
And there's like catapults shooting fireballs over the walls and things. And like that in Canehurst would have been great, just going back to like the church and the Vile Bloods fighting each other in Canehurst, and then getting to the top and like before AstralLace is sealed away. Like fighting her like you fight Queen Yharnam, and she's like firing blood projectiles at you. And like I did the Dark Souls DLC, and you can summon Sif as a phantom in that. And I'm like, why did they never really went back to that?
What do you mean?
Like they never really let you summon anything genuinely weird again. Because Sif is a dog.
Yeah.
Like they let you summon a dog
as
a phantom in the DLC. And I don't know, like you should be able to like, why can't I summon like a beast NPC in Bloodborne to like summon the beast possessed soul or something to fight something for me? Because I mean he fights stuff for you.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Beast possessed soul. Yeah, or like Oh, another thing I was disappointed in is that there was never a giant NPC you could summon with like a gigantic summon sign.
Mm-hmm.
Like you would go in and there would be a summon sign that took up a whole room, and when you touch it, it summoned Yorm or something as a friendly NPC, and he just stood on the boss.
Lol. Thank you.
Yep. Is he in the hidden cutscene where Amelia is now? What does that mean?
Oh, that was a question, but you already answered it.
Oh, yeah.
He's in the unused cutscene where Amelia is now.
Yeah. I think also another thing in that cutscene is that the window to Lumenflower Gardens is already broken. So I think the idea is he would have jumped through that window. You know the window where you fight the Celestial Emissary and then you can break the window and run to Abrigatus?
Yeah.
In the cutscene, that window's already broken.
Oh!
So I think the implication is... Yeah. I think the implication is he jumps through that window.
So was he chilling with the emissaries before jumping to you?
I don't know if the emissaries were there at the time.
Where else would they be?
Well, if we've learned one thing from the development of Bloodborne, it's that everything was like 4 different things at once.
Yeah.
And like Lumenflower Gardens would have led to the old workshop and just all this other weird stuff.
Oh, we never talked about that, did we?
Well, because we don't really know very much.
Okay, well, once we know more, by that I mean you, we're gonna do another Moon Presence podcast.
Alright. Like, I'm pretty sure Lumen Flowers were connected to the Moon Presence at some point. But we'll never know unless we can, like, I don't know, get Miyazaki drunk and make him spill what was going on.
I have some champagne in the fridge.
Well, we'd have to find him, though.
Well, all we have to do is put a whole lot of Berserk comics in one pile, and he'll show up.
You think he just leaves a trail of them behind him, like Hansel and Gretel?
I was about to say that. No, I was about to say put a trail for him to find, and he'll just follow it like Hansel and Gretel.
I liked how we were going over Sekiro, and it's like, well, at least it's not a rip-off of Berserk, and then, oh wait, he's got a mechanical arm.
Yeah.
Has a bunch of gadgets in it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think that's it. Do you have anything else to say about the Cleric Beast?
He's a bit like Manus from Dark Souls.
How so?
Yeah, he's got a big arm.
Big left arm, yeah, just like Gundyr.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's it for the Cleric Beast podcast.
Okay.
Unless there's something else you'd like to add.
No.
Okay, well, thanks very much, Richie.
Yay.
Yay!